Hey everyone, my name is Bill Collins, Marketing Manager with MAGIX. In this video, we'll take a look at Vegas Pro 20, which came out a few weeks ago and has some great new features for content creators. So more and more, you're seeing musicians and producers becoming content creators. They are using video to grow their audience and fan base and using platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and several more. Maybe they're live streaming performances or editing their own videos or doing song playthroughs or creating tutorials. Whatever the case may be, musicians and producers today need a video editing solution. And if you're on Windows, Vegas Pro is a great choice. Vegas Pro has all the tools you need to edit, color grade, mix and master audio, and live stream. While there are a lot of options for video editing software out there, what really separates Vegas Pro from the competition is its fast and user-friendly workflow. As somebody that came from the audio and music production world, I was completely blown away when I started using Vegas Pro, having come from years of using Pro Tools and Logic and other DAWs. But with Vegas, that workflow is very, very similar. And I think really that gets back to Vegas Pro started out as a DAW. Version 1 was audio and MIDI only, and in version 2, they offered the ability to edit video. So that's a bit of a background about Vegas Pro. What I'd like to do today is show you a bunch of the new features. And towards the end, I'll show you how you can edit video to music. All right, let's get started. All right, so one of the coolest new features in Vegas 20 is called File Drop. And what this allows you to do is quickly gather media from your collaborators right from within Vegas. Essentially, what you can do is you send them a drop, which is essentially an email, and then they can upload files to that file drop. So you could send them an email, they can open it up on their phone, and they could add in video that they captured with their phone, and of course, their desktop or laptop as well. So let's take a closer look. So in the left-hand side here, click on File Drop, and I'm going to right-click and choose Create New File Drop. And I'm going to give this a name. I'll call it IMSTA Online. So I can add multiple participants. And so I'll add the name here. I'll just put myself, add my email. Okay, so you can also set a time limit and an upload limit. All right, so then send the invitation, and that will be sent to their email. All right, so let's go check that out. So here we are. We're inside the email. And then I can choose Upload Files. And I have this interface where I can drag files, or I can click the plus sign here. Let me add some of these video files, as well as an audio file. Choose Open, and then Upload. Okay, so the file drop is complete. Let's go back to Vegas. Click on the triangle next to File Drop, and under IMSTA Online, you can see those files that I brought up. One thing you want to do quickly is sync them. Essentially, what that will do is we'll create a local copy of these files. Okay, so that's all done. I can drag these video files in. I'll bring in the audio as well. There we go. Let's check it out. So there you go. Hopefully you're seeing how cool this is, the ability to invite your collaborators, whether they shot on their phone or maybe they have an SD card that's connected to the computer. It's a little bit faster process than you would have using something like Dropbox or Google Drive or WeTransfer, whatever the case may be. So that's File Drop, and we're really excited about it. If you've been working in audio or video for a while, you know that file organization is something that is a challenge most of us face. What's really helpful here is a new feature called Automatic Project Collections. And if I check this box here, create a project collection, every time I save the project, I will be able to access all the associated files that belong to this project. So I have the .veg file, which is our Vegas project, the audio and video. All right, so that's super handy and allows you to stay really organized. Plus, this will back up these projects to the cloud, so then you can share them with collaborators and just rest assured that you have your project files backed up. Okay, so in version 19, Vegas Creative Software released Vegas Hub. And essentially, Vegas Hub is our cloud offering. And there's all sorts of things that are available because Vegas is cloud connected. One of those is access to royalty-free stock video and audio. Okay, so what I've done is I've clicked on Vegas Hub over here, and I can do a search for video. So let's find some video. Let's go with New York. All sorts of stuff here. So keep in mind there is over 1.5 million video and audio clips available for you to download, and this is right from within the Vegas application. So let's take some footage here, and if I click on this clip, I can preview it. All right. So I have a number of different keywords that are associated with this video. I could click on one of these to find more alternatives. You can find similar videos here as well. So if you wanted to find some video clips that are in the same series, you can do that as well. So I can click here, see a different video. So now if I choose download, I can see that I have different options. I can choose QuickTime MOV or MP4. And you can go up to 4K video is available depending on the subscription that you're using with Vegas. So I'll choose MP4 1080, and that is downloading. All right. So now I can also search for music as well. So I'm going to change this from video to audio. And let's type in house music. You can also filter by BPM and duration. All right, let's preview some of these tracks. Okay, that's cool. I'll download that one too. And I can choose MP3 or WAV. Let's just use MP3. Now we can also go to content type, and I can choose sound effects. And for sound effects, let's choose airplane. Actually, sorry. For sound effects, let's choose city noise. Okay, city background ambience. That sounds like a good start. Perfect. Choose download. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to the Hub Explorer, and we can see I've already downloaded a bunch of stuff here. So, but if I wanted to drag in some of these files that I downloaded, I can drag them into the timeline. And I'll bring in some of that ambient noise. We'll edit this for time. Bring the volume down significantly, or the gain, sorry. Bring that down significantly. And then bring in that music. And let's play it from the top. Okay, so that's a really great feature, having access to all this royalty-free stock content. If you're creating videos, just having access to stock can be really helpful. I want to go back to video real quick and show you that there's a couple different options for video footage. So instead of just video, you can also download motion backgrounds. All right, so that's really, really helpful if you want to add some graphic elements in the background too. Okay, so in this next section, I would like to talk about the color grading tools in Vegas Pro. It's probably worth explaining what is color grading and color correction. Now, obviously, getting the color to look right in your video is very important. And to explain the difference between color correction and color grading, I like to put them into terms that audio producers and music producers might understand, because most of the people attending IMSTA online come from that world. I like to think of color correction as the process that we go through in recording right before the mix, where we remove noise and, we remove guitar scrapes, low frequency sounds that maybe somebody hitting the microphone stand, little things like that that we clean up beforehand before we start to mix. And color grading, I consider to be a process like mixing. This is where you can get very creative with how the image looks. Both of them are used together to produce a well-balanced image that looks great. Now, Vegas has always had tools built in for color grading. And a couple of versions ago, we released all of our tools and put them into something called the color grading panel. So I'm going to turn off my camera here so I can show you all of the different tools. So to launch the color grading panel, you can use the shortcut Alt-G or click the color grading button down here in the toolbar. So when you open up the color grading panel, your window layout adjusts a little bit. And the first thing we see are the color wheels. Now, we don't have time to get that deep into color grading because it's a fairly complex topic. But I just want to point out a few things here that if I make slight adjustments, now keep an eye on the image, I'll make some slight adjustments here, and you can see that the mood and the tone of your image can change significantly just by moving our color wheels around a little bit. Now, the color grading panel has essentially everything you need to correct and grade your video. So starting here with the Input LUT tab, let me explain what LUT is. LUT stands for lookup table, and without getting into a lot of detail, it is essentially a color preset, or a way to take one color space that, say, you have within a camera and transform it into a color space or an environment that can be detected and used by a video editing software like Vegas. So if you look at some of the input camera LUTs, we have a bunch of models of different cameras. S-Log, that is referring to a Sony camera. C-Log, referring to Canon. And BMD stands for Blackmagic Designs. So all very popular cameras. And I'm not sure what camera was used to shoot this footage. But let's say, for example, that we had a Canon camera and we wanted to take the Canon color space and transform it into Rec 709, which is a very standard color space for video editing software. I would select that. I'm not going to do that right now, but if we were using a Canon camera, this would get the video into the correct color space. Now, the color wheels are very handy in that they can allow you to change the overall look of the video and correct inconsistencies or enhance certain ranges of color. And we can always go back and reset if we don't like what we've done to the image. That's very handy. We can set our black and white points is a good place to start. Actually, why don't we use the sky here, or the sign. RL color wheels stands for range limited color wheels. Essentially, this allows us to affect the color in just a specific range. So we can limit it so we're not affecting any dark tones if we wanted to just affect the mid and highlights. Utilities, this is a brand new feature. We've always had white balance as a part of Vegas Pro. But what we've added is the ability to adjust the temperature. So what you could do here is you could give it more of a warm look, dragging it to the left. Really what this does, it can take and I know this footage was shot during summer, and dragging the temperature, making the temperature a little bit more warm and give it more of a summer look. I could drag this over to the right and it's cooling it off, and it could be more of a spring or fall look here. Now, the hue versus hue color curves is a brand new addition. And what this allows us to do is to isolate a range of colors and change it to a different color. And the example I'd like to show you here is I would like to take these green leaves and make them appear to be a little bit more fall-like. So when the leaves turn and fall, you can see that they're losing their green and they're turning brown or rusty colored. And all I did is I isolate this band of green, and I can accentuate the green, or I can essentially take it and change it to more of a brownish amber. Okay, so that's incredibly powerful, the ability to transform a range of colors. The last thing I'd like to show you here is the look LUT. And the look LUT allows you to apply a final look to your overall video. Now again, a LUT is like a color preset. And what we can do here is apply some of these built-in preset LUTs. And as you can see that they're named after popular films. And they can take on a similar look to what those films have. I like that one. That's very cool. We can also adjust the strength to limit some of its effect, kind of balance it out. One quick note about LUTs is they use a format, the .cube format, .cube. If you are editing video, most video editing software can work with LUTs, but there is a world of free LUTs out there that are available. You can also buy some premium LUTs. But if you're looking for a lot of color presets, just doing a simple Google search for .cube, do a Google search for .cube. That's the LUT file format. And you'll have lots of choices of LUTs. Okay, so in this next section, I want to talk all about audio. In an earlier section, I talked about how Vegas started out as a DAW. And Vegas has all the features you'd expect to see in a digital audio workstation. You can record, you can edit, you can mix and automate. You have plenty of meters to make sure that your mix is hitting all the levels that you need. And it supports a wide variety of different plugin formats. So let's take a closer look. What I'm going to do here is go to the View menu and choose Window Layouts, Audio Mixing. Now, if you're in the stage of mixing your video project, you're mixing the audio for your video project, I don't necessarily need to see the video preview. So I'm going to remove that. And as you can see, I have my audio faders and my master fader. All right. So here we have, actually, let me just go ahead and play some of this back. What really separates Vegas Pro from the competition is its fast and user-friendly workflow. Okay. So I have faders for all of my audio tracks, mute, solo, record. And I also have automation modes. I can write various different automation, like volume, mute, pan, everything you'd expect to see in a digital audio workstation. We can add effects by clicking on the effects button here. Now it comes with a preset chain of effects that are kind of standard for, I would say more for voiceover and dialogue, like a noise gate, EQ, and compressor. But if I want to add more effects to this chain, I can do so. So actually, let me remove a couple of these, and I'll disable the gate. Okay, so when I click the effects, this takes me to my effects plugin chooser, and I have a bunch of extra stuff here from a number of different software vendors. But yeah, as you can see, you can use a lot of your popular and standard effects here. So I'll go ahead and add some effects to the master bus. So I have a bus compressor, and I might add a limiter as well. Let's do the Brainworks True Peak, and then choose OK. Okay, so I have both of those plugins enabled. So I'm not going to do a full mix here or anything. I just wanted to show you that you can use all the popular plugin formats in Vegas Pro. All right, let's talk about meters. So we obviously have our master VU meter here, but it's also incredibly important to have control over loudness. So it has a built-in loudness meter, which is really useful. I'm going to bring this up and just dock it. So it's right alongside the master. And I'll go ahead and play this. And that will be sent to their email. All right, so let's go check that out. So here we are, we're inside the email. So we can check our loudness to make sure that it's hitting the levels that we need it to for whatever broadcast standards we're looking at, whether that be YouTube or broadcast television. Another thing that's really useful with Vegas is the ability to use event-based effects. So I'm going to bring up an audio event here. This effects icon on each event. Now, Vegas allows you to apply event-based effects. This is very powerful. I'm going to go ahead and add an EQ to one event. So you might have an event that needs some correction where an event on the same track does not need that same correction. So as you'll notice, this event has a checkbox next to it. It has effects applied, and the Eventide Split EQ is applied to that event. And the one immediately to the right of it does not. Now you can chain up to 32 effects per event, so you can get some very detailed audio processing on each event. So if you'd like, you could apply a lot of effects on the event and just save your track-based effects for things like compression and EQ to kind of just make sure that you're not having any overs or you don't have any sibilance issues or things like that. So the audio mixing capability in Vegas is very, very powerful. So another thing I'd like to show you is how Vegas can round trip with SoundForge. If you're not familiar with SoundForge, I'm going to be creating a video for SoundForge as well for IMSTA Online. But SoundForge it's an audio editor. Now it does a lot more than audio editing, but the reason why we package SoundForge along with Vegas is that SoundForge has editing capabilities and a number of different audio functions that Vegas doesn't have. Now you can do basic edits and mixing and mastering as we've shown so far with Vegas, but the level of detail that you get with SoundForge is really impressive. So what I'm going to do here is right-click on this audio event, and then I can choose Open Copy in Audio Editor. So what this is doing is taking the audio from this event, and it's going to open it up in SoundForge. All right, so SoundForge is opening up. And SoundForge has a number of different tools that you can use to edit and process audio. Now, I'm not going to get into SoundForge in this video. I'm saving that for a dedicated SoundForge video here. But essentially, we can get in and do a lot of editing and audio correction here. You have loads of different tools to choose from, many of which are not found in Vegas. I like to think of SoundForge as like an audio Swiss Army knife. It has lots and lots of tools that you may or may not need to use every day, but it's one of these tools that just kind of has everything you need to fix and repair audio. Okay, so if I was to make some changes to this audio event and save it, it will then round trip back into Vegas. So anything I apply here will then be applied back to the audio event in Vegas. So if I hit Control S and then close out of SoundForge, that will be applied over here in the event. So that's very powerful and allows you to do some pretty impressive things with audio. Okay, for this final section, what I'd like to do is edit some video to music and just apply some of the techniques that we've looked at, some of the features that we've looked at in the video so far, and kind of show you how easy it is to create video that is edited to music, what I will do is go into Vegas Hub and I will download some stock footage and I'll find a song and I'll cut the video to the music and then apply some basic color grading and kind of just walk through the final process and show you how easy it is to put something that's pretty impressive together in Vegas Pro. All right, so first of all, let's go to Vegas Hub and click on Vegas Content. I'm going to do a search for space. Lots of really cool things to check out here. Let's go ahead and download some footage. I'll go do MP4 1080. Okay, so that should do it. I have several videos to work with. Let's go find some music. Let's do something like trance. Yeah, that works for me. Let's download an MP3 of that. Okay, so we're going to start bringing in this footage here. I'm going to bring down the gain of this track a little bit. So what I would like to do is essentially edit on the beat. Okay? So if you've edited audio before, you're probably used to looking at waveforms. And if I zoom in, you can see that this is probably a kick drum, definitely a low frequency waveform. I'll move some of these others out of the way. And this song has an intro. Let's check that out. I'm going to fade in that video as well as the audio. Just kind of hold your cursor in the upper left hand of the event, and I'll match these to be the exact same time. Okay, right on this downbeat, I want to introduce another video event. So I want to make sure that the timing is perfect, and you'll definitely want to make sure that you're eyeballing this to make sure that transition is timed right. So let's check it out. Thinking every couple of measures will switch to a different one. Now, the use of markers is very handy right here. I'm going to zoom in as much as I can, and right on the 0 point, I'm going to click or press M, the letter M for marker. And the reason why I did that is now I can have my edit snap to that marker. This is very helpful. Okay, let's check this out. So it's really helpful to set up markers because then I can snap to the marker. This makes editing really quick. Place a marker here, M. I'll speed up the edit process a little bit here. Let's do a fade for one measure. And let's bring this one in for the breakdown. You can actually dissolve that, fade them into each other. So this is a lot of fun and could keep doing this all day long. So the last thing I want to do is just kind of show you the last couple of things we could add. We could add some color grading effects if we wanted to completely change the look of something. So how about we hit Alt-G, and I'm going to apply a LUT, give it a slightly different tone. And this kind of has the effect of unifying the color and look of all the effects. So just a quick basic edit there. Hopefully you can see how easy it is to edit your video to music using Vegas Pro. So I want to thank all the people at IMSTA. Check out Vegas Pro. You can go to vegascreativesoftware.com. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of IMSTA Online.